And I'm just roughly saying what it was. She was talking about how Cardi B is built like an ant. She talked about how Cardi B is supposed to be the pretty one, but keep changing her faces. Cardi B talking about she setting the pace, but she flopping. She talked about how, yeah, she's light skinned, but I'm really black. So Ice Spice did not spare any punches when dissing Cardi B.
Cardi and Nicki just teamed up and came for Ice Spice, calling her out for being disloyal and manipulative. Rumors had already been floating around that Ice was playing both sides, getting close to Cardi and Nicki just to push her own career. But most people brushed it off until she turned her back on Nicki and aligned herself with Cardi's camp. Not long after, receipts came out showing Ice talking behind Nicki's back, confirming there had been private tension between them. As if that wasn't messy enough, the streets were buzzing that Ice was one of the many women Offset would hit up when he was in the mood to cheat on Cardi. And apparently, Cardi found out. She went off online, dragging Ice in a string of tweets. With all these accusations flying around, people started saying Ice was doing the most to keep her name in the spotlight, especially with an album on the way that no one seems excited about. But it didn't stop there. Things got even worse when the Bella brand, a well-known wig stylist, took to Instagram to expose Ice for allegedly refusing to pay for 20 custom wigs that were created for her tour. According to the stylist, Ice's team commissioned the wigs but bailed at the last minute, after the wigs were already done and ready to ship, and then had the nerve to demand them for free. In the midst of exposing Ice for being shady, the wig maker also dropped a bombshell. Ice had sent her photos of Nicki's old wigs and styles, asking for exact replicas, basically copying Nicki's signature looks over the years. She wrote that she was disappointed Ice would even ask her to hand over $20,000 worth of wigs without promo, sarcastically thanking her for making them recreate all those Nicki Minaj looks. She held back more receipts, saying Ice called it a Princess Diana vibe, but everyone knew it was all Nicki. But Bella wasn't done. She posted screenshots of texts going back to 2010, with Ice sending reference photos from both Nicki's early years and current tour looks. In one example, Ice asked for bangs, and when the stylist offered to match the look from Ice's own In Ha Mood video, Ice instead sent a photo of Nicki with her signature thick bangs, saying she wanted it just like that. And people had already been calling Ice out for biting Nicki's style and flow, even accusing her of mimicking Nicki's rap cadence. Ice's team denied it repeatedly, but a few weeks ago, when people claimed she copied Nicki's 2012 look for the Fat Butt track, her stylist denied any connection and said it was actually inspired by Princess Diana. The irony? Those DMs showed Ice referencing a 2012 photo of Nicki to design the wig, so she was definitely copying. Her stylist not only lied, but dragged the late princess into it, knowing full well Diana had nothing to do with any of this. And just as Ice was getting dragged for the Nicki drama, she ended up clashing with Cardi too. That was unexpected since Ice and Cardi were just seen online chatting and hanging out at parties. People had already been side-eyeing Ice's loyalty to Nicki. She claimed to be a barb while smiling in pics with Nicki's rivals. But now even her thing with Cardi seems to have crumbled. A track from Ice's upcoming project Y2K leaked, and in her song BB Bell, she seemed to take shots at Cardi, mocking her surgeries and accusing her of constantly changing her face. She even hinted that Offset had been sliding into her DMs. Ice rapped, "Think she pretty but changing her face. Her man calling? But I'd be like, who is this?" And fans instantly picked up on who she was targeting. Cardi didn't ignore it either. She clapped back on Twitter, warning Ice and the rest of these new girls that she's not to be played with. She wrote, "These chicks have lost their minds. I'm getting my lick back on my album, each and every one of y'all. None of you can touch me in numbers, money, real estate, fashion, or even in person. I'm not in a race with y'all, and I'm about to prove it." Her fans stood behind her too, calling Ice out with comments like, "Taking pics with you, but then sneak dissing you on a track." And "They've been playing with you too long. Don't want to hear no tears when you end their careers on that album."
Fashion girl like she was in 2017. Bia came out and said that Cardi B don't write. Ice Spice has talked about being a writer. Ice Spice came out talking about her body, talking about her face. And so everybody's at Cardi B. Here's the thing. Rightfully so from Ice Spice. I'm being neutral. At the end of the day, I think that Ice Spice got her lick back on Cardi B when Cardi B brought her into an argument that she was having with a Twitter fan. Long story short, a Twitter fan insinuated that Cardi B uses the N-word, and that she's not black. And Cardi B came out and said, well, why y'all saying it to me, but y'all let Ice Spice say the N-word? Ice Spice jumped into the chat and was like, well, maybe that's because, my parents are actually black, And so they had a little back and forth then. And Cardi B pulled a stunt on her and said, hey, Ice, why don't you post that picture you took with me at the Met Gala or whatever award show that was? And so Ice Spice posted it. And so the internet went on fire because they like, oh, so you was sneaking around trying to be cool with Cardi B when you was supposed to be Team Nicki. And that was Cardi B's way of saying, like, yeah, girl, you a fan, girl, you a fan. You know what I mean? Post that picture with us while you trying to get cute. Post that picture while you was fangirling. That's kind of what it was. So she kind of hold Ice Spice and sunned Ice Spice in that moment. Now, not unbeknownst to us, we had no idea that Ice Spice said, okay, I got you, but I'm gonna put that in the tuck and I'm gonna save it for my album and I'm gonna whack you with the BB belt. And that's exactly what she did. And so Cardi B's reaction, she's justified in her reaction, but we can't sit here and say like Cardi B is just a victim. They were throwing shots back and forth.
After watching the internet blow up with drama and realizing both Cardi and Nicki had officially turned on her, Ice Spice decided it was time for some damage control. She tried to push the idea that she and Nicki were still on good terms. But let's not forget, just a few months ago, Ice's former bestie Baby Storm leaked some pretty incriminating stuff, including screen recordings and private texts where Ice was talking wild about Nicki, calling her jealous and delusional. And to make things worse, the timing couldn't have been shadier. Those messages dropped just days after Ice was seen hanging out with Cardi, which had Nicki's fans absolutely furious. Fast forward to Ice's latest Billboard interview, where she was asked about those messages, and she tried to downplay everything, acting like things were still cool with Nicki. She said Nicki's super busy and probably doesn't even care what someone like her has to say, and that her comments were made in the heat of the moment during contract talks. She admitted she could have used better words, but insisted she still respects Nicki as an artist and appreciates everything she's done for her and the culture. But let's be real, nobody was buying that apology to her. I mean, come on, this is Nicki Minaj we're talking about. There's no world where Nicki finds out someone was calling her crazy behind her back and just shrugs it off like nothing happened. Naturally, the internet had thoughts. One person said Ice Spice should be ashamed. She used Nicki, then turned around and dissed her, all while low-key trying to be her. Another fan called Ice fake and sneaky, but admitted she's slick with her words. They also said Cardi should have never involved Ice in the first place. But now, I want to hear from y'all. Do you think Cardi and Nicki were right to expose Ice? And do you really believe Ice was playing both of them the whole time? You already know what to do. Drop your opinions in the comments. And don't forget to click here to check out another messy video.